Everybody, it is Mark Hirschi with Movified. We are here at the Moving Titan Retreat in Tampa, Florida, and I'm so excited to have a setup here where we can have some amazing guest speakers. Right now, I'd love to introduce today we are so lucky and blessed to have Steve Kuhn with MG Moving Services, also previously one of the founders of JK Moving, and it's such a pleasure to have you on the panel. And sitting in the hot seat,
it's Steve Kuhn. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Steve was already kind of busting up my chops earlier and giving me a hard time even by my name. So I feel like this is going to be an interesting little interview here, but I'm going to start with something, that I ask a lot of people that come on the show, especially with the experience that you've had over so many years with growth from such a large movie company that everybody hears about to restarting it again. And we were chatting yesterday a little bit about it as well too. What would be 5 tips that you would want to tell somebody going into the business that you've experienced, that you've learned, that you're like, man, if I only knew these 5 rules or 5 tips, I could definitely have led the way a lot farther and faster than I did?
It's a good question.
Loaded question.
It's a tough one. I'll do my best to answer it. I guess number 1 would be something my mom told me when I first got in business. If you're a Kuhn, you got to make sure that no one outworks you. I think that was a curse more than anything. Work-life balance is important, but hard work is number 1.
Your moving software does the basics, but have you seen SuperMove? It's the most comprehensive solution out there. SuperMove has automations that respond and follow up with leads for you, even when you sleep. Don't want to do an on-site estimate? Use SuperMove's virtual survey to get all the information you need without leaving the office. Once the crew is on their way, the customer gets a live link to follow along their route, which means no more last-minute phone calls asking where their movers are. Crews can indicate when they arrive at the location, use the app to walk customers through a digital bill of lading, fill out timesheets, and automatically calculate all job expenses, including drive materials and tax. Click the promotional link in the description to schedule a SuperMove demo.
Hey everyone, it's Matt from Moving Letters AI. I'm super excited to announce our newest product, the Simple Note. The Simple Note is an extremely simple, handwritten product to get you into more homes at an affordable rate. Right now, you can get 500 of these to targeted newly listed homes for only $8.95. Guys, check out the link down below. Sign up today and join the handwritten revolution. Let's go.
Number 2 would be find the right people, good people. And if you find good people, the third is you have to trust them. I see a lot of people with good people that don't trust them. They put a lot of confinements around them, restrictions and policies that can choke them out. And it portrays a level of lack of trust from ownership. And I don't think it helps culture. It's just another means of control. And I believe in finding good people and trusting them to do a good job. Then the 4th is, if you're going to be in the moving industry, I've always been an independent. JK is still an independent. I've seen the van line model since I was a kid. I wasn't impressed then. I'm less impressed now. And the results of the agents and the results of now the van line headquarters, the financial condition that they're all in, is a perfect example of why I would stay away. What I always believe in is helping the business from the grassroots level up. And when you have an organization has a vested interest in only one element of a business, which is long distance for a van line, it doesn't help the business that they're getting the business from develop and grow. It only helps the one side of the relationship they're trying to gain from.
See, and I feel like people are going to hate me after this because there's still a 5th point, but I want to jump in on this because I've done it from both sides, where I've had an independent moving company, smaller, worked with long distance carriers, made a good percentage, to now having a moving company that's been part of Atlas Van Lines for 55 years. And I see, coming from an outsider and going, why are we an agent again? Why are we doing this? What are the benefits? What are the setbacks? And listening to you talk about that, it makes me also kind of going why, what keeps you away from than wanting to be with an agent because they're not part of that grassroots, right? Is that what it is? Like they're not part of the actual build of your company. They're just funneling the long distance side of things. They're taking their part.
Correct. And if we have affiliates all over the country. That's what we survive on, is business relationships with other moving companies that we have a fair and open, transparent relationship with, that if we want a margin, we'll add it to what they charge us. It's not an agency agreement that we're forced to stay within. On the van line side, again, they make money off what used to be the long distance tonnage, but then when the tonnage got too great and the driver shortage kicked in, now they're going to turn it around and say, we want you to be a hauler, and now they're changing the rules of the game, right? So they're always doing what's best for them, not what's best for him.
Well, I'm seeing it now too, where, the whole policy was, well, we really appreciate when that agent in Los Angeles is also an agent in Florida, and it's going through that process and you have the same consistency because they're both the same agent, to now the model of, hey, we're going to load this actually into a palletized container, ship it on a freight company. So it's not even on like a Kentucky trailer, ship it across to Florida, and then hope that everything is fine, everything gets shipped fine, to save on extra costs to be more competitive. Have you heard about this model?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
It's like a crate and freight model, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. And it's they're emotional decisions that get made without running through the true impact on what happens to the people that you have a commitment to. If I'm running a van line headquarters, I have a commitment to that agency network where I can't run my business based on whims and emotions. I have to involve the masses and not just the higher stockholders in the decisions that are made, because the ripple effect goes down to the smallest agent and the negative impact it could have on him, because it's a reflection on me. I don't think people think that way. And it's pretty obvious based on the historical records.
You're experiencing, especially at events like this, where there's so many independents, and the network building that's happening here, they're going to turn around going like, great, I've made a great relationship with so-and-so here and this moving company here. Let's start all trying to work together, and the model's gone. And I was talking to some guys yesterday, and they're like, oh yeah, we get lots of government business. It's like, oh, what van line are you part of? They're like, we're not part of the van line. We just get government business in our area. So I was like, oh, because that's usually a big push of, oh, we can provide you with this and the XYZ when you're a part of a van line.
Exactly. And it's,
Sorry, everybody. We jumped on question 4, but it's important.
You gotta stay up with the times.
Yeah.
And without compromising the foundation of who you are. I'll give you an example. In the early 90s, when I started doing national account sales at JK, as an independent, I learned from a couple of independents. Clark and Reed, Bud, Barrio, Merchants. There was a model out there that no one had heard about at the time. It was called pack, load, and haul.
Okay.
On one case, it was the only thing that an independent was really capable of doing, which is a driver helper team going out and doing everything themselves with crew continuity throughout the entire long distance move. As soon as our independents with the pack, load, and haul model started taking the corporate accounts away from the van lines, all of a sudden the van lines are selling pack, load, and haul services. Well, that's an emotional decision. To me, they just completely broke down the fundamental attributes of being a van line, which is allowing your agents to pack, your haulers to haul, and your agents to deliver at the destination. They totally broke down the foundation of the van line model to chase after the independents without thinking it through. They didn't realize it was going to choke out their own van line, because now they got primary agents that are doing pack, load, and haul services in your. So an Atlas agent is coming through your city. You're not getting the OA clip. Your crews aren't working on that national account shipment. Their national account drivers coming through your town, taking the commitment they made to you to get you to sign on. They're taking that tonnage away from you. And now they're taking that shipment out of town, and they're keeping that shipment in the fleet, and they're not giving that hauling opportunity to you. So what I'm saying is it needs to be thought through a little bit better. And and things like this Titan retreat, if the industry's not careful, it's places like this that are going to come up and eat their lunch.
Totally. Thank you for that.
When I decided to try Mover Marketing AI's social media posting service, I wasn't sure what to expect, but they really surprised me. They were able to capture the essence of my company's brand with professional and perfectly crafted content. Now they manage my social media, posting tips, reviews, and relevant content while I get to focus on my business. For just $300 a month and no long-term contracts, I enjoy peace of mind and strong digital presence without any of the hassle. If managing social media feels overwhelming, I 100% recommend Mover Marketing AI's social media posting service. You won't regret it. Just go to MoverMarketing.ai/deal and fill out your information and get your free week of social media posts exclusive for Movified listeners. You won't regret it.
Hi, I'm Mark Hirschi with Salmon's Moving and Storage. Today, I want to talk about Tiup Training. Why? Because this is Netflix grade quality training. It's not those old videos and VHSs that you got hiding in your office somewhere. It's online, it's easy to use, they're short videos, but they get to the point. My new employees, these guys run through these training programs, there's tests at the end, and they're coming out going, oh, I'm ready to rock. So if you haven't checked out Tiup Training yet, get a demo done, get on board. Guess what else is there? Online portals for my sales staff. Can you believe it? These guys can learn how to overcome objections and book more leads today. So what are you waiting for? Go check out Tiup Training today.
Number 5.
Now, the fifth is the model that MG has. We're trying to build relationships with movers around the country. We can share our customers with friends, affiliates, not agents, friends and affiliates and partners that we have relationships with, because we feel that that relationship carries more power and weight if treated fairly than it would under an agency type agreement. We feel that a friendship or a relationship has more clout over the level of service that our customers receive than money. I mean, the money's there, it's fair, so we agree to what's fair and we execute for what you're willing to haul for, what you're willing to service for, whatever it is. And we know that now you've agreed that this is fair. The relationship is going to be what makes the difference in the quality of that move. Because if I can call the owner of that company and say, we have an important job in your market next week, that relationship is going to be what gets a VIP crew in that house. So the relationships with fellows in the industry that we can work with. I'd like to help your customers when they come into our market. I'd like you to help our customers when in there. And when we can't put a truck underneath of something, when it's coming out of your city, we'd love it if you could help us. And the power of that relationship is going to be what drives the service to the end user, and that's what matters most.
I like that philosophy for what MG is aiming for as well, too, which is great. I mean, you did say you don't want to work with agents, but hopefully if you got somebody coming to Vancouver, we can try and work together on it.
We select our partners based on the quality of their service and the relationship that's going to impact the client the best.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it really is about the customer.
That's all. I mean, that's
What people sometimes I feel like tend to forget. Whether you're just an employee in the office, whether you're sales, whether you're on the trucks, sometimes people forget, it's not just a job. You're there to service the customer, and you want to make sure you're giving them the best performance and service possible.
And if there's a few of us in the industry where, if you look at our resumes, if you look at our track record, that's all that matters. Because, and that's why we find the right people. We trust them to do their jobs. You treat them right, they'll treat the customer. It's all about the customer. There's nothing else.
Last question I always like to tell people or ask everybody, being in the industry for so many years, you've probably seen or experienced wild stories, moving mishap or an issue that happened on the truck or something that's happened in the office, whether it's an employee or something from the past. Can you share one or two stories of something that you're like, Trust me, this will knock your socks off.
The top 3 that come to mind are not.
PG rated.
Yeah, this is not PG rated.
It's fine. People love when it's more R rated. Anyways, on our podcast.
You know, we've moved brothels, not knowing it was a brothel. You know, it's
You say a brothel. A
brothel, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I wrote it down because I guarantee I could write a bestseller right now. Just stories are endless. I'm put on the spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I remember one time in my older moving company, we had a guy, it was already like, I don't know, it must have been month end or something. And the driver was complaining that that he gave this one, like the helpers, their tips and everything else. And this kid comes into my office like losing his mind. I never got the tip, like da-da-da. And it's like, no, like I'm pretty sure he got handed. And he stripped down to his boxers. Like just started taking his shirt back. He's like emptying everything out. He's like, I don't have this tip money. And I was like, look, if you're willing to do it that like to all the way to here, I'll give you the tip money. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you handed. I trusted our driver. It was like a driver for us for like 10 years. Never had an issue with him. I was like, here you go. But yeah, I was just like, come on, kid. Like this guy just like in front of everybody, just here you go, like stripped down. And all right, clearly you need the money more than I do. So, you know, it was like $20-$40. I was like, here you go. But yeah, it's always fun stories that you kind of get.
And there's more to come.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, Steve, I really appreciate you being able to spend the time and answer some of these top 5 questions that most people always want to know about and hear about. And it was great to kind of experience from the outside of a van line, you know, what some of the pros and cons were. I heard a lot more cons, which always gets me the brain turning of like my thought process of what to do for the future for my moving company. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being on
Good luck.
the show. And hopefully we'll reconnect again for a longer Movified. Thank you guys for watching. It's Mark Hirschi with Movified. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want. And until next time, stay Movified.